It's time to check your money with your friendly neighborhood advisor. Mike Jennings is a wealth advisor with Brackens Financial Solutions Network, LLC, and a registered representative of LPL Financial, member SIPC. Michael, it's good to
Yes,
see
sir.
you. Now, Mike, we had our first show of the year
hmm
last week, but between then and now, you did a thing. You done did a thing. So please, Mike Jennings, tell our audience the thing that you did.
Well, we might be pulling the curtain back a little bit because it was actually on New Year's Eve.
Uh-huh. Well, you held
My
it from us. You held it from us.
yeah, I did. My beautiful uh girlfriend and we got married. So she is my beautiful wife now. She's my beautiful
Mm.
wife. Yes.
So
Yes,
does
sir.
this beautiful wife have a name we want to say congratulations to?
Yes, Aaliyah Jennings.
Oh, okay. Was there some conversation about that?
No, it's funny. She texted me not too long ago, and she was talking about it with. She's in like a group chat with my mom and my niece, and she was like, and they were talking about it. She's like, her original name, her maiden name was already too long, so to add another name onto that is too much. So she just went with her husband.
I appreciate that, and you appreciate that. So, how does it feel? You a married man of all of a few days, right? What's it
Uh,
feel like? What is it? How different is it actually?
I'm gonna answer that in two different ways.
Okay.
Number one. I feel great. I feel it was always knew, when we first got together that she was gonna be the one that I married. And it was just a matter of when. And I kind of last few years I kind of got in like my head and like tried to do like, oh, try to plan out this perfect way to propose and do this and do that and have this big old wedding. And really, I mean, she just sat me down one day and was like, listen, you want to get married? I want to get married. Let's get married. And that was it. And
Okay.
that was really
So
it. She
you
was
didn't
like,
have to.
listen,
Well, you already proposed, right? She was your fiance, or no?
I, I proposed 2 days before we got married. So she was my fiance for all of 2 days.
2 days. Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. All right, so that was
So
the first way you answered. Now, what's the
first
second
way to
way?
answer it is it was great. I feel like a new man. The other way I can answer is that it's not that much different. I think that speaks to our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We live together. We lived together for 2 years now. Um, you know, uh, and with the baby coming along, that in our relationship, we started communicating more and communicating differently. And it really was one of the things, I know big changes like that, like having a baby or proposing or getting married for a lot of couples, that is like a catalyst for like, all right, now the cracks are starting to show. Luckily for us, it was like our time to where we like truly leaned into each other, and our relationship is clearly stronger than ever. So, that.
Now, did you get down on one knee and do the whole?
Yeah, I I
Okay, okay, you
I,
did all
I
the things. Okay,
actually proposed. Yes, I proposed. I asked her father. I did all the good
you did
stuff.
all the things in the couple of days you had.
Yeah.
So now your anniversary is going to be New Year's Eve. So
New
that's
Year's
kind of a
Eve. That's
wow,
right.
right?
Listen,
Right.
it's gonna be a party somewhere.
There's always going to be a party somewhere. But exciting for you. We're really excited for you, Michael, and we wish you and Aaliyah all the best. And congratulate. Hey, wait, where's my applause? Let me go back and get. I got to go back to my sound effects and get mine. Now I can't find it. See, I
You know,
should have
where I
been
always want
ready.
to ask you, where is the soundboard?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute, Mike. Wait a minute. Here we go. Uh, where's all the? Here we go.
Hey.
Because what happened was I had my other sound ready for the close, and so I
Yeah.
had to, yeah. So that's what do you call that? That's inside baseball. The audience doesn't care; they just want to hear it. In fact, let me give it to them again. Congratulations!
Yes, sir. Yes,
This is
sir.
great. Look, many happy returns, and as a veteran of 34 years
Wow.
this year, 34. So, yeah, same woman.
And I know it feels like yesterday.
Feels like yesterday, right? When you okay, let me get my points here. When you
Uh-oh.
marry your best friend, it does feel like every day is a joy. Hey,
That's it. That's it. And yep, and when you know that's your best friend, is even easier. So
it is easier, and we have 4 children from that, and so it's a blessing. So
yes, sir. Yep. We
so
got
I guess given that you're a newlywed, you want to talk about newlywed stuff.
Oh, of course. We gotta fit the financial stuff into it, right?
Oh, by
Well,
the way,
or else why are we here?
oh, and by the way, did you hear Vicky's effusive praise of you last time? Did you hear it? You didn't hear
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And
it?
I'm so appreciative of her. I go back to like our my first time being on here and talking about how we connected and how and welcoming she was from the very beginning. And I couldn't ask for a better mentor and person, you know,
And you're out here
mentoring me and yep, and taking care and making sure that I'm going about my career the right way.
and you're a young person. You're from Syracuse. You came
Hmm.
home went to Syracuse University, and you came back home to Syracuse after being a forensic science, right? That's what your
Hmm.
background is. And
I mean, technically, I never left, but
right, 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 right. Well, you came back home. You stayed home, right?
came back down the hill.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we're glad that you're finding opportunities, and I can say to the community that Michael's involved and engaged in the community, young talent and energy. He's in the mix of the things, and so Vicki has taught you well. So let's get into it.
Yes, sir. So again, as a newlywed, I figured what better way to break the news to the listeners than to do an episode on finances for married couples. As we know, financial issues and financial disagreement really is one of the main factors that can lead to things like separation or divorce. Now, obviously, those are very negative things, and we don't want our people out there to go through those things or head towards those things. So we're going to try to help out some of the lovebirds out there and discuss considerations for newlyweds specifically so that other people out there that are thinking of taking that leap like I did and make sure that they're aware of what to expect on the financial side of things. So
Sure,
how about it, George? Let's do it.
let's do it.
So always, of course, as financial planners, I'm gonna go about this with the financial planning, breakdown with all the different areas that we do, right? So first is cash flow. That's the first, and the listeners out there, you heard me talk about cash flow all the time. It's the first step in any financial plan and really any financial decision, right? Because you can't make a financial decision if you ain't got no money, right? So you got to figure out how much money you got, how much money's coming in, how much is going out, right? So for the newlyweds out there, or maybe for the married people that never got around to it, established a household budget, right? Account for both partners' income, expenses, spending, and saving habits. Then that's just in general, some people are spenders, some people are savers, right? You don't want to be in a relationship with two people are spenders and spending all the money that you're trying to save, right? You got to make sure that you understand, um, you know, each person what they're bringing to the table. Established the financial account structure that you will be using going forward. Personally, I'm a fan of, keeping whatever individual accounts each person has, while also adding at least, one joint account to cover the shared responsibilities, the household stuff. You have kids or you're gonna be welcoming kids soon, like we are. Obviously, everything that goes with that. Make it easy. Just have a joint account. You're both putting money into that. You don't never have to worry about all of the responsibilities that come out of that. Be transparent about debt and financial history, right? You want to do this before you get married.
Right, right.
Um, really, that is something that should be discussed before you get married. But, I don't get into people's business unless they hire me to do so.
Right.
Communicate, plain and simple. That goes for not just cash flow, but every other area that we're going to go into here. Debt management, right? Again, transparency is the biggest thing. Disclose every debt that each partner is bringing to the table, whether it's car loans, personal loans, credit cards, anything in collections, student loans, the big one,
Hmm.
and develop your plan for how you're going to pay those debts down, right? We talked about how to structure debt management and debt payoff. Obviously, go for those high interest debts first, the credit cards, those different loans and things like that. Obviously, the higher the interest rate is, and the higher the balance is, the more you're paying it off over time, and the more that you will be paying over time. Um, you're in a marriage. Use the partnership and the, the dual income to your advantage. Now you could probably take care of more of those debts more quickly now that you have a person, by your side, another person in your household bringing in income. Decide which new debts you're willing to take on in the future, whether it's, a new car, whether it's, what kind of house you're going to get, things like that. You got to be strategic in your planning and how you're going to take on new responsibilities of that magnitude. Investment planning. Now, coming off of debt management, you should also, of course, disclose the other side of your balance sheets and discuss your assets, including your investments. Now, we talked about investments a lot. Everyone has their own risk tolerance when it comes to investing.
Hmm.
So, if you and your partner are on similar terms, then that's great. But if you are far enough away from each other on that risk scale, then you'll have to find a way to compromise. You don't want a person have to one of the partners, one of the spouses have to take on more risk than they really had the appetite for just because they're in the marriage. You have to consider what each side is bringing to the table and what each side can handle as far as risk. You should review your portfolios together. This is important. This is a conversation that we have for a lot of our married coupled clients and things of that nature, especially for things like asset allocation, right? And that means which category of different things are you invested in and how much, how much stocks are you invested in, how much fixed income, how much real estate. Your asset allocation now has to take into account the concerns of both parties, right? You want to make sure that you're not doubling your efforts in your investment strategies, and you're not overly concentrated in any particular asset. Again, that over concentration that can lead to more risk. As far as if anything were to happen in that sector, you don't want to have too many of your eggs in this one particular basket. And remember, it's likely that either you or your spouse will be a more knowledgeable. One of you will be more knowledgeable when it comes to investing. Whenever you're having these conversations, right? The less investment savvy spouse should still be a part of the conversation, have their
Right.
opinions heard. Don't just push them to the side because they don't want to, or they're not as knowledgeable about certain things, right? In a relationship. And it's funny because Aaliyah just showed me it was like a TikTok or something about someone speaking of what was it called? It was um, intelligent intimacy. Is that what it is? The idea is if you have two people, you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, there should be a certain aspect of your marriage where you're teaching each other certain things, right? Aaliyah she's not a financial guru by any means, but she has a husband that is a financial planner. So obviously, naturally, through the different conversations that we have, different things that we talk about, she's getting more and more financial information, more knowledge, becoming more savvy in certain things. But with again, there always will be a balance thing. So again, making sure that whoever is the least knowledgeable person is, make sure that they still understand that their side is important as well.
Hmm.
So that's investing in insurance planning, right? Pretty much all of your insurance has to now be reviewed now that you're married, now that you're in this legal union. Life insurance. Make sure, of course, that the beneficiaries are updated. All of your other insurances, make sure that, if there's not a beneficiary, make sure at least your status is updated to let them know that you're married now. I know that's important for like auto insurers, which we just had to go through in the last week or so, right? A lot of them will require that married individuals, especially obviously in the same household, they have to be on each other's policy or they have to share a policy, right? At which point it would probably make more sense to have just one single policy instead of two different policies that both of you are on. Make sure all of your cars are on it. And actually, side conversation, that's not even just for married couples. That's for, that could be for any driver in the same household, whether it's a roommate, whether it's just your boyfriend, girlfriend. If you have a licensed driver in the same household as you and they have access to your vehicle, then a lot of auto insurers will want to know that, or not just want to know, they want to make sure that they're listed also on your insurance
Apps they will
policy as
do.
well.
As a matter of fact, they will absolutely want to.
They will
And
they
then
will
we had to
come for
go.
you.
So, for example, we had to go back and say, okay, that person no has their own, because we have all these drivers in
Hmm.
the house. That
Yeah.
person has their own insurance. That person has their own insurance.
Yeah, a lot will do it automatically. It's because they
Yeah,
get
they
they
just
get
want
the
to.
info from
They get it from
DMV and
DMV.
yep.
They because they go back and they look at who's at that address, and they look at the age and
So there you go, George. That's your own good tip right there. Make sure you check, make sure that nobody is on that insurance that don't need to be on that
No,
insurance.
we did it. We had to do that. We had to take some
Yeah,
people
yeah, I
off.
bet.
Like, yo, they got their own cars. They're playing their own.
It's always funny when we have like couples that are clients and they got kids that as soon as they hit 16, they're like, hold on. They see that auto bill.
Right, right, right.
What's next? Tax planning. Tax planning. Now, this is a big one. Marriage can almost certainly change your tax situations significantly. Um, so when it comes to tax planning, as far as being a newlywed or being married, first step is do the easier steps. Things like updating your W-4. For those of you that don't know, that is the form that you use to update your withholding. So that's the withholding is how much is coming or
Mm-hmm.
is being kept from your check for the purpose of taxes.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make sure that the right amount of taxes is being taken out from your paycheck. When it's not correct, that is what leads to overpaying taxes and getting a refund at the beginning of the year, or underpaying taxes and having a tax bill at the beginning of the next year. Um,
Let me ask you a question, Michael. Maybe
mhm.
let me let you finish your point, and then we'll see if I
Oh,
need
go
to
ahead, go
ask it.
ahead.
All right. Well, because you got married on the last day in
Mm.
are you going to answer that question on the last day in 2025?
Fun fact,
But go
if you
ahead,
are
go for it.
married by December 31st of a particular year, you are considered married for that entire year.
How about that?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you choose to file jointly at a better tax rate, you can do it. Okay. There you go.
Mhm. Yep, there you go. Exactly, right. It's always funny because Aaliyah, she always gets nervous around tax time. I'm like, for number one, you're fine, but this year it might be a little bit different because now it's married, filed jointly, filed separately. We're gonna get into that in a little bit here, right?
Right.
So again, evaluate whether it's more beneficial for you to file married separately or file married jointly.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, I think the point you're getting to, filing jointly is the way to go. Um, First and foremost, you only have to do one tax return instead of each one doing your own. Um, but also, most couples will find that they have access to more tax credits and will have a lower tax liability overall.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, it just makes more sense to file jointly. Now that doesn't mean that there aren't situations where filing separately is more beneficial, right? So a couple examples, if you are student loans, we mentioned that earlier. If you have student loans, if you're on a repayment plan, income-driven repayment plan, then when you file jointly, married file jointly, they will consider your spouse's income together with yours. So that can increase your payments on your student loans because now if income driven, now you have this whole other income that's a part of it as well. Another example is if one partner makes a lot more than the other. So if you and your partner are in different tax brackets, again, if you file jointly, your incomes are considered one. So for the person that's makes less than the other person, they're gonna find that they could be in a much higher tax bracket. For the person that makes more, they may find if they're close to that threshold, even if their spouse makes less than they do, their income could push them into a higher tax bracket. So now you're both just in a higher tax bracket, right? So that's something to consider. Um, Retirement planning. Now, I can't speak for everyone else's marriage, but mine was not designed to be temporary. So, of course, retirement planning has to now take into account the considerations of both people, both partners. Um, Depending on how old you both are, I guess when you get married, you may have a good amount of time to still be figuring out your goals for retirement, where you want to live, what kind of house, all those different things like that, all your wants and needs. Um, but regardless of when you get married, what you should immediately do is start saving to fund retirement for both of you. You don't want to get in a situation where only one of you can afford to retire, right? Retirement planning can get tricky, especially in some situations, such as having a significant gap in age between spouses. That's also something that can lead to one person retiring much earlier than the other person. Again, something to consider. Finally, estate planning and wealth transfer. I think this goes without saying, especially since we just covered this the episode before last that we did together. Um, Again, basic tip, just get your most basic estate documents completed. Wills, powers of attorney, and healthcare proxies, right? Obviously you hopefully you trust this person enough that you just married, to be able to make decisions on your behalf if you cannot, whether it's a financial decision or whether it's a health decision, if you should become incapacitated, the person that you love, the person that you trust, you want the decision to fall into their hands. Um, if your situation calls for it, you can also start thinking about more complex legacy planning. So those will involve things like trust.
Mhm.
But again, that's again a little bit more advanced, but something to consider in the future. So those are all the different areas of financial planning and how they apply to married couples and newlyweds in particular. So to all our listeners out there, those are just the considerations. If every couple will need a deep dive into each one of those different areas, as every couple has their own individual and shared circumstances to now cover. So whether you're an individual, whether you're someone who is ready to be met at the altar, or whether you're already in a loving marriage already, you owe it to your partner and to yourself to make sure that your financial future is being planned for. And if that's something you need assistance with, then give your friendly, but not too friendly because I'm married now, neighborhood advisor a call at 315-748-5540. Again, that's 315-748-5540. Or you can send me a quick note at michael.jennings@brackensfsn.com.
You're still friendly. It's okay to still be friendly, okay? But he's just
Not
letting
too
y'all
friendly.
know. He's just letting y'all know. Aaliyah appreciates that. He just letting y'all know.
Listen, I'm not tooting my own horn, but when I step outside the house, I may get a hey handsome here and there. But
All right, Mike Jennings is a wealth advisor with Brackens Financial Solutions Network LLC and the registered representative of LPL Financial Member SIPC. He is your friendly, but not too friendly
not too friendly.
neighborhood advisor.